Okay, I'm just going to start this recording again. Sorry, ladies. This is me getting sidetracked with meeting all of you and seeing faces. So let's start this live stream. We're going to be talking about the importance of cleansing with a focus on the liver, because the liver is the most overlooked organ in terms of balancing hormones naturally. So we'll be looking at the liver from a Chinese medicine perspective as well as a Western medicine perspective. And then we'll be fusing them together and finding that balance, partly because, the liver, toxins accumulate in our body. Whether we're looking at it from a Western perspective or a Chinese medicine perspective, they accumulate in the body over time, and they just increase the risk of adverse effects on fertility and especially the health of your future baby. So, we've got so many endocrine disruptors, in the food, in our water. We've got personal care products. You only have to step outside and we are burdened. Our livers are, I guess the word I'm trying to say is overwhelmed. Most of us have an overwhelmed liver. So starting the year 2024, I have been starting this with all of my patients, the cleanse, a fertility cleanse or a detox. It's just a really nice reset after the Christmas period, Thanksgiving. So, and it's just a nice reset on your hormones. I was mentioning to Dr. Alicia in our welcome that, in Australia, the average person consumes 37 teaspoons of sugar while the recommended limit stands at 6 teaspoons of sugar. So, that excess sugar that the liver, it turns on this fat production in the liver. You've often heard of fatty liver, blood sugar dysregulation. So I'm going to try and make it streamlined for fertility. And let's just maybe look at the main benefits for fertility by doing a cleanse. So we're going to improve your hormonal balance, because let's face it, liver detox can help regulate your hormones. It can make sure that they're adequately utilized and excreted, which is essential for ovulation, implantation, and a healthy pregnancy, which makes sense. And also if we've got a really healthy liver, we're going to have a better, improved and regular menstrual cycle. So detoxifying the liver will help some of my patients that have things like irregular cycles, painful periods. You may even have heavy bleeding or irregular or missed periods, amenorrhea, things like that. Yeah. So, detoxifying the liver, often I will find when I do the liver cleanse, the period just naturally gets back on track and we start having good periods. Also, if we cleanse and do a fertility cleanse on the liver, we will have better enhanced egg quality. Now, why would I say that? Because when you actually detoxify the liver, it means that all those toxins get released, which in effect means that your eggs get that nutrient absorption. And this is especially important for women as they are aging over 40, as egg quality tends to decline with age. Then we've got inflammatory markers, clearing the liver. We know that an angry liver gets very hot and inflamed, and a liver detox is going to reduce inflammation in the body by eliminating the toxins and just promoting that internal healthy environment. We've also got an improved metabolic rate, as I was mentioning about that fat storage, that sugar, that fatty liver. So by just clearing and cleansing your liver, you will find that your metabolic rate improves. You've got better fat storage and distribution, aka weight loss, and which is great for women. We all want a little bit of those excess pounds and kilos to move after the holiday season. When we also clear the liver, because it's also impacted by stress, and I'll talk more about the emotions associated with the liver. So it will help manage your stress. Yeah. And it is such a preconception part of what I do. So by cleansing the liver, you can do this cleanse up to 90 days before you start trying to conceive. Cleanses can range anywhere from a week to 4 weeks. I normally will do them 3 to 4 weeks, 21 days on average, but they can go anywhere up to 90 days, just based on what your needs are and what we're trying to achieve. So Let's look at the functions of the liver from a Chinese medicine perspective, because it's really interesting. Chinese medicine has so many amazing metaphors, and I love how Chinese medicine explains things. So in Chinese medicine, the liver stores the blood, which is important for menstruation. It opens into the eyes, all right, so it controls the tears. It ensures the smooth flow of qi and energy. So if things are getting stuck in your body, tight neck, I often find women get stuck around the neck and throat and shoulders, glutes, all right? So if you're getting stuck physically, emotionally, emotions are getting pent up, we want to smooth flow that liver qi, all right? So things can get stuck, so we want to get that to flow. In Chinese medicine, the liver also manifests in the nails. So if you're finding you've got grooves on the nails, spots on the nails, dark lines down the nails, which, can mean that we have, precancerous cells. Sometimes that can lead to cancer. So we look at the nails a lot in Chinese medicine. Like, we're always looking in Chinese medicine when you come in for consults. It also controls the sinews, so that the tendons, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, and the joints. So you can see that if you are getting joint pain, ankle, sprained things, constant back aches, your tendons, your ITBs are really tight, okay, then it's a great indicator that something's going on with the liver. And lastly, in Chinese medicine, the liver houses the ethereal soul, which means that it's all about envisioning, like planning and decision making. So if you are having real issues with planning and decision making, deciding, and I know I have this problem, my liver needs a little bit of work right now, it's a really good idea to do a fertility cleanse. Now, we also then look at the elements in Chinese medicine. So we have, wood, fire, earth, water, metal, wood. So in Chinese medicine, the liver belongs to the wood element. Okay, so the season of the liver is spring. So often you'll find too, if you've got symptoms flaring, right, anything with your tendons, your eyes, your nails, your emotions, they tend to all flare up in spring. Why is that? Because that's the season that is associated with the liver in Chinese medicine. It's really interesting. The color is associated with the liver is green. So I always implore my patients that have liver disharmony to eat green foods, wear green, be in the garden, put your feet on the grass, lots of earthing, all right? And then we've got the flavor of sour foods. So sour foods are really good for harmonizing the liver. Things like, what's some sour foods that you can think of? Anyone?
Lemon?
Sauerkraut.
Yes. Yeah. Go. Renata, go.
Sauerkraut.
Yes, indeed. Totally. All those beautiful things. They're sour, like sauerkraut, kimchi, vinegar. All of those things have a real harmonizing effect on the liver from a Chinese medicine perspective. So it's really amazing when we look at things from a Chinese medicine perspective, you can already start to apply the medicine. Like already you guys are jumping in. And the thing about lemons and peels, what I've been doing is grating it like Parmesan over my salads, on my dressings, mandarin peel, orange peel, tangerine, grapefruit. I've even been making my own hydroxychloroquine with the peels of grapefruits. Interesting, So I've been making up a tincture and a syrup for Bert, my husband, as he's recovering from COVID. And these are all things you can do, and it helps that bitter quality helps with the liver and ensuring that smooth flow of qi. So some of the symptoms of an unbalanced and a dysregulated liver, it's partnered with the gallbladder in Chinese medicine. These are the two partners. All right. So you might see things, and I'm just going to mention these, and I've mentioned it from a fertility perspective, irregular periods, heavy periods, clotted periods, painful periods, so dysmenorrhea, decreased egg quality, low AMH. You might have, then emotionally might have irritability and frustration. So that's the thing I was going to talk about earlier. The emotion associated with the liver is anger. So if you're finding that you're getting a short fuse, not just around PMT time, but you're finding that your fuse is short all the time, you're a little bit irritable, you're a little bit, charged, got more frustration, just your temper's not, you've got a short temper, then it is symptoms of an unbalanced and dysregulated liver and gallbladder. You could have floaters in your eyes. Remember the eyes, liver opens into the eyes. So you could have floaters in the eyes, which tends to indicate that we've got some liver blood deficiency going on. You could have blurred vision. You could have things like brittle nails, as I would mention, those grooves in the nails, the dark lines. The wind the climate of wind affects the liver. So if you're a person that doesn't like being in the wind and gets a bit itchy, scratchy in the wind like I do, like I tend to have a lot of liver and gallbladder disharmony, I loathe the wind, then it's a clear indication, all right, my liver needs some work. All right, so dislike of windy weather. So some of the things in Chinese medicine that we would encourage is that we avoid things that are going to aggravate the liver. From a food perspective, the main thing is avoiding alcohol because it has to break it down, right? Alcohol, fatty, greasy foods, refined sugar, sweet foods, caffeine, and spicy. All right, so we tend to then focus on foods that can cool the liver down. And it's not to say that you always have to cool the liver, but if you're finding that you're getting hot temper, you're overheating, you feel you've got inflammatory markers, then things like watermelons and melons are really cooling. They're traditionally, we use them traditionally to clear heat and toxins from the body. And they're especially beneficial in summertime. We tend to eat according to the seasons in Chinese medicine. Cucumbers have a really cooling effect, and they're helpful if you're experiencing any inflammation. We all know if we've done a face mask, we put our cucumbers on the eyes. It cools the eyes. Yeah. In Chinese medicine, we'll use juhua, chrysanthemum flowers. If you've got, what's the word I'm trying to say, like pussy eyes? Conjunctivitis. There we go. Conjunctivitis, juhua, squeeze the chrysanthemum flowers, put them on your eyes, and then drink the tea. It's amazing on the liver. Celery is very clearing on the liver. It also helps the stomach and stagnant qi. We've got artichokes. They help regulate the liver qi, and they help with healthy digestion. They're good fiber. All right, and other heat clearing foods, peppermint tea is one of my favorites. Mung beans for liver heat. And go for green. So just anything green. All your dark leafy greens are fantastic for the liver in Chinese medicine. So what are they? Can everyone give me some dark leafy greens? What are your favorite dark leafy greens?
Kale, spinach.
Perfect.
Chard.
Yes. Awesome. Chard, collard greens, bok choy, choy sum, silver beet. Yeah, beautiful. I love this. Absolutely. And broccoli. So just think green. All right. Now, in Chinese medicine, we also we call it face mapping in Chinese medicine. And between the eyebrows, there's a point, we call it yin tongue. So if I was to draw a line there, and at this point, I love this point. It's so wonderful. You can tap it as well or massage it, but it's really beautiful for connecting to the heart in Chinese medicine. I do a lot of this for implantation and supporting the luteal phase, calming the Shen and the nervous system. And for the purposes here, this point can relate to the liver. So this area rules, detoxification, digestion, and emotion. So that's possibly why you will often see, chronically angry people or frustrated people have that really deep groove there, right? Yeah, a lot of my patients get Botox in that point, right? But it's really interesting when we can look at our bodies and we can observe when we do need to do the fertility cleanse. From a Western perspective, we've got 5 ways that the liver will affect your hormones. And let's just talk about that, the 5 different ways. So from a Western perspective, the liver removes the dirty estrogens from circulation. It converts the T4 to T3 thyroid hormone. It balances your blood sugar levels. Yeah. It produces your HDL, this is your good cholesterol, which is a precursor for all your steroid hormones, cortisol, DHEA, testosterone, estrogen and progesterone. So you can see that the liver, it does so much, and then it reduces that toxic load and lowers the inflammatory response. So there's a lot of crossover between East and West. You can see how they support one another. And so when I'm addressing a liver supporting protocol with all of my patients, and every one of my patients knows that to begin the protocol, I start with a standard 6-ounce glass of water, add in 2 tablespoons of your apple cider vinegar, a squeeze of your fresh lime or lemon, and you want to do that upon waking, first thing before you do anything, before you take any supplements, any Chinese herbs, anything before you eat. And ideally do that within the first 5 minutes of waking, because your body is dehydrated. It's also going to help the liver function, activates the liver to produce more bile, but it's aiding that enzymatic activity for the gut to aid detoxification. So that's the first thing on the liver supporting protocol I get all my patients to do. In addition to all the things we've just mentioned, the greens, the cruciferous vegetables are another thing. They're high in diindolylmethane. It's DIM for short, diindolylmethane. It's a bit of a tongue twist, which helps the detoxification pathways. All right, and they're found in it's the brassica family. It's found in broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, my favorite Brussels sprouts, bok choy. So all of these things are really supportive of the liver. We've got B vitamins. They support all major detoxification pathways in the liver. Most of your prenatal supplements will have your B complexes in them, so you don't need to worry too much about them. But the foods that are highest in vitamin Bs is the liver. And if you can get your grandma's old recipes of, cooking up liver and doing it, with balsamic. I know in Italy we use balsamic and red onion, and it's beautiful to fry it up. But I know that it's not palatable for a lot of my patients, so beef liver capsules can also be an idea. As I've mentioned, lemon peel, it's rich in limonene. Grating it, it's an activator of the methylation pathways. And you can put these in your baking, in your cakes, in your smoothies, in your juices. Eggs, we want choline-rich food. Why? Because it also supports the methylation pathway. And my favorite source of choline is eggs, if tolerated, or avocados. And make sure you eat the yolks as well, because that's where the choline is. I don't separate the eggs and the yolks with the whites. Vitamin C rich food, sulfur rich food. So my favorite source of vitamin C in Chinese medicine is goji berries. It supports the liver blood. So you could have a tablespoon of goji berries daily. Now you can pour boiling water over a tablespoon of your goji berries, or you can just eat them like raisins or sprinkle them in your oatmeal. I don't mind how you do them, but they're just amazing for fertility, period, and for supporting the glutathione detoxification pathway in the liver. We've also got selenium, very important for fertility. So what does selenium do? It helps break toxins down. So my favorite source of selenium in food, because I love to use food as medicine, the more we can use food as medicine and less taking supplements, I prefer. So Brazil nuts, 3 to 6 a day, sardines, anchovies, what else? Herring, you've got your chicken, turkey, meat, what else? Milk thistle, that's another supplement, very good on the liver, which, you'll often find that silymarin, it's a supplement we often will take, or I'll prescribe and I'll put that in your Chinese herbal prescription. But you can buy that as a separate supplement to support the liver repair. Okay, it's also, what else? Heavy metal chelation. We want to look at sea vegetables are my favorite for that. If you haven't got into seaweeds, can I invite you into the world of seaweeds? Those sea urchins, they tend to expand in your soups, but I like to add things like arame. They're best in soups and stews, and you can add them to salads. But we've got dulse flakes. Oh, dulse is like such a high iron content, but, it's amazing. It tastes like bacon, looks like bacon. So I want you to start thinking about sea vegetables for liver detoxification and your fertility cleanse. Other ones are kombu, nori, which your nori rolls and your sushi rolls. You're already having those. Wakame. Jump in and have a play with your sea vegetables. They're fun. I love to put my aroma in my sweet potato and pumpkin soup. It's really good for a phlegmy cough. Like in Chinese medicine, if you've got a phlegmy cough, add some aroma and pumpkin together with some soup. It's amazing for busting phlegm. All right, now I'm going to just talk about a couple of strategies that I have all my patients use, and this is great for liver fertility cleanses and detoxification, is your castor oil packs. I talk about them in nearly every live stream. Why? Is because castor oil is just so cheap. It's so easy to do. Queenofthrones.com, you can get castor oil packs. You can get organic castor oils sent to you, queenofthrones.com. If you don't have time to make your own castor oil packs. But if you've got the time to make your own castor oil packs, it's literally just making a little pack with some cotton flannel, right? And you can put it under the liver. So this is the liver's on the right side. I'm doing mirror image. It's under the right breast. And you can do these liver packs. Clearly, we want to make sure that you're doing them only in the follicular phase from day 5 until ovulation, then stop. But if you're not trying to conceive and we're doing a prep, like we're doing a fertility cleanse prep, we're doing a preconception prep, then you can actually do your castor oil packs daily up to 4 times a week. And then once you've done them, and we've done a bit of a cleanse for 3 weeks doing them, 2 to 4 times a week, then you can reduce down to once a week. But if you are trying to conceive, and most of you here are trying to conceive, then we want to make sure it's only in the follicular phase from the last day of your period until ovulation. Then we stop. But they're my favorite. I love them because that one pack that you make under that liver, don't throw it away. Keep it because you can use it 25 to 30 times. And then you just throw it into a freezer bag and keep it in the laundry until you're ready to reuse it again. And you just apply it to the skin, cover it with some plastic or one of those organic wraps. You've got coconut wraps, you've got beeswax wraps. If you really want to be safe, then you can use those and then cover it with a hot water pack or a hot water wee bag. Sometimes I even get my patients who are very lazy to just rub the castor oil on the skin, put the T-shirt over, this is your castor oil T-shirt, and drink your hot tea. So you keep putting it down on your liver. So do your herbal tea. I mean, express version, easy version. I just want to make sure you guys can do it, all right? Now, magnesium oil is another fan. I'm such a fan of having magnesium oil in the house, partly because it's a relaxer. It relaxes you. It relaxes the heart. It calms the nervous system. It works on those metabolic pathways and detoxification pathways in the liver. So you can apply this, again, under the liver, spray. I usually rub around the breasts, do a lovely breast massage because at the end of the liver, the meridian here ends and it's liver 14 under the breast. So if you rub around the breast, you are giving your liver in Chinese medicine so much love. All right, so magnesium oil. If you're finding that if the skin is stinging, you can add a carrier oil, coconut oil, sesame oil, almond oil, if it's stinging and itching the skin. If it is doing that, guys, what I need you to know is that, you're clearly magnesium deficient. So we need more of it. So if you are finding that the skin is getting itchy, you may need to add some magnesium bisglycinate it just depends. There's so many different versions of magnesium, but magnesium bisglycinate or magnesium glycinate is the most digestible and easily absorbed version of magnesium that you can get in a powder. I find the powder form works a lot. It's faster acting than the tablets. Don't get me wrong, the tablets do work, but I just find I actually notice it in my body when I use magnesium powder. It's just a personal thing. Epsom salt baths, they are full of magnesium sulfate. They open up the detoxification pathways. So you can have up to 2 baths a week. I love them. It's bath time is soul time. And when we can connect to ourselves and have that moment, because sometimes you've got little people in the house, demanding husbands. It's busy, and it's nice to have a little time out for us. I've put infrared saunas here with caution, partly because, if you're trying to conceive and you're in that 2-week wait, we tend to avoid anything that's going to overheat you. But, you can use them. They are very good. And we just want to make sure, try to limit it to maybe 20 minutes. My other favorite thing that you could do while you're doing this cleanse is a lymphatic massage. It's very gentle, so nourishing. Lymphatic massage, tend to avoid them if you're trying to conceive after we have ovulated. Dry skin brushing is another strategy, which always brushing towards the heart. This is my fan, but imagine those brushes, the dry brushes that you can scratch the skin and you can dry brush the skin. It promotes blood circulation and lymphatic drainage, so it's just really great. Last thing I want to mention is getting into bed before 10 or around 10, because the liver detoxification in Chinese medicine happens between 1 and 3. So it's important to be in a deep sleep between 1 and 3. So if you are a late night person, let's try and reframe it and get your bedrooms dark and turn off your digital devices by 7 and start to wind down. So that's pretty much covers what I wanted to share today. I now want to open up some questions, and I'm going to have a look at some of the questions here. Okay. Renata, Dr. Fiona Sony, is there a substitute for the lemon drink in the morning? I've been doing this and I think it's affecting my teeth and wearing down my enamel. So what you can do, Renata, is you can drink it through a straw. You could try doing that. You can just add the apple cider vinegar instead of the lemon if you think that it's affecting the enamel in your teeth. I haven't really had that before. Remember that it's diluted in the water, so you could titrate it down. But if you wanted to try something else, then anything citrusy. So you could try a lime. Try that instead of the lemon. All right, Eleanor's. Okay, she wanted to know what the queenofthrones.com. Yes, she wanted to know where to find the packs. Okay. Renata, another question from you. When can you do the infrared massage during the follicular phase? Yes. Yes, in the follicular phase. You can do it when you're menstruating. In Chinese medicine, things that support you when you feel warm, right? So you can do it from the day 1 of your period up until ovulation, then tend to wind things back. So like less overheating in that luteal phase. In Chinese medicine, we also use moxa. Jeanette, you're a fan. You're not a great fan of the smell, but could you perhaps share your experience of the moxa?
Sure. Yeah. I've been doing it every day since you and I talked about it. I've missed a couple days just because I do it outside and it's very cold here right now. And we've had some pretty wet days. So I did go out this morning when it was 21 degrees, but it's, it is very warming. I've been doing it on, at the bottom of my feet. It's very warming and I do feel like it's helped.
Yeah, great. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for sharing. So the moxibustion, let me just explain to those listeners that aren't aware of the moxa. The moxibustion is a herb that is compressed called Artemis vulgaris. It is very closely related to the cannabis family. So it smells quite stinky, which is why we have it near an open window. But it has such incredible healing properties. It's so powerful. What it does, we often will use it in the when you're menstruating to help increase the blood flow, to warm the blood and move the blood. But it's also, we use it for when you have breech, for turning the baby. So it's something to keep on reserve, but it can be used for things like knee pain and back pain and joint pain. When there is interior cold, that's the main thing, or yang deficiency, we call that in Chinese medicine. If you're overly hot and yin deficient, we tend to avoid it. What we would use in those instances is we put the moxa on the ends of the needles. We call that ondan moxa, where it goes on the tip of the needle and then it supports the yin. But you'd actually need to work with an acupuncturist to do ondan moxa needling. But yeah, your stick moxa is great for the period time, and it's great if you do have those cold hands and cold feet, cold womb, blood clotting, dysmenorrhea and pain, and if your periods are alleviated by warmth. All right. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. Thank you for opening up your window so I could see your beautiful faces. I appreciate that because it's so much nicer to look at people's faces when you're doing a live stream. Are there any more questions before I say goodbye? Here we go. Okay, Jeanette, in my case, when you've recommended warm foods to increase yang, would you still recommend watermelon, melons, and other cooling foods? No, not for you. Yeah. Only if there's that heat and inflammation, that we call that liver heat in the liver, or liver fire. Yeah. Renata, one last question. Oh, okay, just missed that one. What do you think of glutathione, especially for the liver? Yes, absolutely. Yes, of course. It's a great supplement for the liver, especially glutathione works on those detoxification pathways. Great question. So I might just finish with one point. I spoke about this point, liver 14, and I'm going to talk about just 2 points, two takeaways so we can say goodbye. But liver 14, if you look at the breasts and the nipples, right directly below on this, we call it the sixth intercostal space, and it's just on your bra line. Okay, if you dig deep into that point, so follow the line down, find your bra strap, boom, liver 14. This point is the last point on the liver meridian. Okay, so this would be a point that I would needle an acupuncture if you were coming to see me in the clinic. What it does is it helps regulate the liver qi. It helps with liver detoxification. It's great for breast tenderness. It's great for hormonal imbalances. It's great for anger, depression, and any menstrual irregularities. So this is a point that you can either tap, you can palpate, and I've been actually sharing this exercise with my patients this week about smiling at your liver. So maybe we'll finish with smiling at the liver. Place our left hand on the heart and the right hand on the liver. Like, we can do this together. And it's a feeling and a sensory exercise to just tune in. And it's about connecting the heart and also feeling your liver, because it's doing so much work. And the heart loves gratitude, but so does the liver. If we give it some love and gratitude, and then if we smile at it, like literally put your biggest smile on it, yeah, because it really is hard to be angry and smiling at the same time. Try to do that. So it's when you are finding your fuse is short, you're having a moment, catch yourself and smile at your liver and see what happens, and see how quickly you can dissipate and move some of that liver qi. Beautiful. So I am going to love you and leave you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me. I will see you again this time next week. Goodbye.